The golden desert stretched endlessly under the blazing afternoon sun. The dry wind carried fine sand across the ground, and small patches of brittle grass swayed weakly. In the middle of this harsh land stood a small clay hut, with a rough wooden fence beside it. Here lived Bali, a strange but hard-working man with a face strikingly similar to a monkey, rounded ears, a flat nose, and sharp, expressive eyes. His tan skin glistened with sweat, and he wore nothing but an old pair of shorts. His feet were bare, hardened by years of walking on the hot sand. Bali owned 20 fat pigs, his pride, his livelihood, and his only wealth. Every morning, he led them to the dry grass patches where they could graze. Today was no different. The pigs grunted happily as they searched for grass, while Bali walked slowly among them, holding a sturdy wooden stick in his hand. Inside the small hut, his wife Sheila was busy preparing lunch over a clay stove. The smell of freshly baked bread mixed with the dry desert air. From where Bali stood, everything seemed peaceful, but peace in the desert rarely lasted long. A strange sound broke the silence. At first, it was faint, almost like the wind dragging something heavy across the sand. But as it grew louder, a foul stench followed, the smell of rot and decay. Bali froze. He squinted toward the horizon, and his heart sank. Figures were moving across the desert, slow and staggering, their bodies bent at unnatural angles. Even from this distance, he could see their torn clothes, pale flesh, and lifeless eyes. Zombies. Bali's grip on the stick tightened. He turned his head toward the hut and shouted, "Sheila, stay inside. Lock the door." The pigs sensed the danger before the attack even began. They squealed and scattered, kicking up clouds of dust. Some ran toward the far fence. Others pressed themselves into a corner. The zombies were still far, but their pace was steady. Bali knew that if they reached his pigs, there would be no saving them. Alone in the vast desert, he was about to face a nightmare. The zombies drew closer, their rotten feet sinking into the soft sand. Their lifeless eyes were fixed not on Bali, but on the squealing pigs. The sound of grunts and shrieks filled the air. Bali's heart pounded. "Not my pigs," he roared, charging toward the nearest zombie. With a swing of his stick, he smashed it across the creature's skull. A sickening crack rang out, and the zombie collapsed. But two more lunged forward. One grabbed a pig's hind leg, dragging it toward its gnashing teeth. The pig screamed, thrashing wildly. Bali swung again, his stick slamming into the zombie's side. But another came from behind, forcing him to twist around in defense. From the hut, Sheila peeked out, eyes wide with fear. She wanted to help, but she knew if she stepped outside, the danger would be far worse. All she could do was pray. Bali's breath came fast, his arms aching from each swing. The zombies were too many, and they were closing in. He thought this might be the end. Then, hope appeared. From the far edge of the desert, 3 figures came running. Jagu, Raju, and Golu, Bali's childhood friends, each armed and ready. One carried a sharp axe, another a heavy iron rod, and the last a rusted spear. "Bali, hold on, we're here." Jagu shouted. The desert exploded into chaos. Steel met rotting flesh as Bali and his friends fought side by side. The axe split skulls, the rod crushed bones, and Bali's stick cracked ribs. The air filled with the stench of blood and the choking dust of battle. Pigs squealed in terror, some managing to flee, others trapped in the frenzy. The sand beneath their feet turned dark with blood, not all from zombies. Bali's heart broke as he saw 2 of his pigs fall, but there was no time to mourn. Every second felt like an hour, but together, they pushed the zombies back. The battle was far from over, but at least Bali was no longer alone. At last, the final zombie fell to the ground with a dull thud. The desert was silent again, except for the panting of the exhausted fighters and the soft grunts of the surviving pigs. Bali stood still for a moment, gripping his stick tightly. His chest rose and fell as he scanned the scene. Lifeless zombies sprawled across the sand, a few pigs limping, and 3 lying still, forever gone. He swallowed hard. "I couldn't have done this without you," he said to his friends, his voice thick with emotion. Raju clapped him on the shoulder. That's what friends are for. From the hut, Sheila emerged carrying a large tray of food, freshly baked bread, roasted meat, and a clay jug of cool water. She smiled, relief on her face. Come, all of you. You fought hard. Eat. They sat on the warm sand outside the hut, forming a circle. The sun, now lower in the sky, cast softer light over the desert. They ate and drank, sharing laughter and quiet moments. The pigs, as if sensing safety, returned to grazing nearby. Bali looked around at his friends, his wife, and the animals that had survived. The day had taken much from him, but it had also reminded him of something priceless, the strength of loyalty and friendship. That evening, as the desert cooled, they stayed outside, talking long after the food was gone. The battle was over, but the memory of it, and the bond it reinforced, would remain forever.